Hey there everybody, how are we doing? My name's Boomy and you're watching my channel Boomy Reactions. Now today guys, I think I would say this is a little bit of a history video I'd like to share with you, or just some awesome video that I'm assuming is about veterans or army veterans. Let's check it out. So today's video has been requested through Buy Me a Coffee, and this is from Carlitos. Thank you so much, my lovely. Now Carlitos, you say, "Hi Boomy, big fan of your reactions. Thank you. Your laughter is contagious, and the way you always see the good in everything is very heartwarming to see. You guys always say the nicest, sweetest things." It made me blush. Thank you, my lovely. It's very, very kind of you to say. While also watching you react to badass stories of the military. Yes. My favourite is very much Nick the Fire Electrician. They are some absolutely amazing stories about amazing people as well. I think this story I am recommending to you to watch will catch your interest. It's called Army Ranger, or Army Rangers, I think, Smoked Some Crips in 1989 by, is it Popo Medic? Now this is a new channel. I've not seen any videos from this channel before, so new channel. Excellent. Thank you for requesting this, my lovely. Okay. Crips from 1989, did it say? Okay. Am I right in thinking that's, is it a gang from California kind of area? You have to excuse me, guys. I'm very naive. I think this is a gang. Okay, and the American for the Army Rangers. So it's part of the U.S. Army's 75th Ranger Regiment. I think I've heard. I know. Not personally, but yeah, I believe this is the Ranger Regiment. Okay. Why would you mess with these guys? Oh my gosh, who messes with the Ranger Regiment? Okay. Well, this will be one to watch, guys. So let's check this out. And if you are enjoying these reactions, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much, my lovelies. If you're interested, I have a Buy Me a Coffee account. That link is over here. And if you would like to help support my channel any further, I have a Patreon account. Yes, I do. And if you want to check that out at all, that link is in the description just below there. Right, okay. Let's see these Rangers smoke some Crips. I can't even say slang words without actually sounding serious, can I? I think it's the accent. It's the British accent. Everything I say just sounds so.
November 23rd, 1989.
Okay.
An Army Ranger who had just purchased a home on one of Tacoma, Washington's most gang-infested streets quickly became a witness to various illegal activity happening.
Oh, so I thought this gang was associated with California, but we're in Washington. Okay.
Happening out front of his home. He wasn't shy of confronting it or notifying the authorities, and soon after, he became the target of one of the most notorious street gangs Washington State has ever seen.
Oh dear.
And after shaking up the hornet's nest one too many times, his home was ambushed by the Hilltop Crips gang, but not before he invited 15 of his Ranger buddies over for a barbecue. 300 rounds, and 10 minutes later, the Crips were fighting for their lives.
Well, think you messed with the wrong fellas. Just don't. Okay. I've got a good idea, I think, of what's going to happen here. Smoked! Ash Street shootout of '89.
In 1989, the neighborhood of Ash Street in Tacoma, Washington was an open-air drug market. There were several hotspots, and almost every house on the block was an active and thriving trap house. These gang infestations in the 1980s, born from the crack epidemic, flooded the streets and created an economic downturn that defined the decade. You might remember President Ronald Reagan declaring the war on drugs, or his first lady who was just like, "Just say no." Oh my God. That was this time. Tacoma.
Just say no.
Was Washington State's ground zero of gang activity, and by the summer of 1989, it had grown blatant, middle-of-the-day type shit, like selling crack to the ice cream man type shit. And this was all fueled by an influx of gang members moving in from California.
Okay, I wasn't massively, away with the fairies. Like that, they are based in California, so they've kind of moved up to Washington. It may be a very, very naive thing to say, but I never associated Washington with having an issue with gang activity or that kind of crime. I'm very naive, I know. But you kind of, not stereotype, but you do largely associate this kind of thing with bigger cities, or, I don't know, like, I want to say certain states, but that sounds awful. I don't only think of California as gang crime, but you kind of, because you hear it so often in LA and certain places, you do associate it more with those states, which is very unfortunate. But I've never, very naively of me, I know, but I've never assumed that Washington had an issue.
Tacoma police had experienced nothing like it before and were really struggling to get it under control, oftentimes not even knowing how to respond to it. Ash Street neighbors consistently called police and called 911 repeatedly and got nowhere. The typical response from police at the time was very mild. Community-oriented policing was a new thing, such as taking bullshit calls and pretending like it's not bullshit.
Yes, ma'am. I know you can't sleep when the dogs are barking.
But community policing was still viewed with suspicion by veteran cops who came up in the 60s and preferred the old ways, like smacking people in the head with their portable radios. At the time, Tacoma Police Chief Ray Fatelin pushed these new community policing programs so far that the Hilltop Crip gang rose to power.
When the OGs from Woodwood like HTC, when we mounted up the streets 200 deep, when the Park Rangers had a shootout with cats from Ashby, when the Ashby's connected with them Hilltop niggas, had a shootout and chased out from Cali niggas.
Staff Sergeant William Folk of the 2nd Ranger Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment, purchased his home on Ash Street in hopes that the neighborhood would soon turn around. To protect that investment, he was determined to help push the drugs and gangs out by any means necessary.
I know it might be a little bit of a bleak outlook, a little bit pessimistic of me, but I don't know of any examples over here necessarily. I don't think when you have quite a localized but still kind of growing problem within the community like this, I don't think they get better. I mean, I want to say otherwise, but I mean, do they? I have no experience of this. Did it get better before? Well, after it got worse, I guess.
Which may seem crazy to most people, but Staff Sergeant Folk was not most people. He was an elite operator who at a moment's notice could hit hard and smash fucking everything. You know, Ranger shit. But violence was the last thing the Staff Sergeant wanted, and he remained optimistic. In the summer,
I think he alone could probably be the neighborhood watch, the neighborhood security. He's going to straighten it out, isn't he?
Summer of 1989, Folk returned from a December deployment in Panama to find the neighborhood worse than when he left. Along with other neighbors who were honest, hardworking people, he formed a neighborhood group that pressed police, demanding action. The neighbors started making signs, protesting, and taking pictures of the drug dealers. Even as the tension on Ash Street rose, Chief Fatelin made a decision he would later regret. Hamstrung by budget constraints and desperately short on the patrol side, he shifted 4 of 6 officers away from the Hilltop Crime Management Team to launch a community policing pilot project. The neighbors on Ash Street reacted with dismay. Under fire from citizens and the city council, a local Tribune covered the controversy, noting efforts by Ash Street neighbors to monitor the drug activity themselves.
A group of a dozen neighbours who live in the area of South 23rd Street and Ash Street said they are on the verge of vigilante action because police have failed to curtail drug dealing around their homes. I understand budgeting can lead to these kind of, personnel shortages, But it's a shame because it directly causes more vigilante behaviour because I don't know what other choice are you left with. People just take the law into their own hands. I'm not condoning it, but you must feel like you've got no choice.
After the News Tribune piece, drug traffic on Ash Street slowed, but only so much. Staff Sergeant Folk was used to seeing more than 100 cars pass through his block on any given day, and after the story appeared, it was down to 20 cars. Folk decided to install a video camera in his upstairs window to record the traffic. He organized a neighborhood barbecue as a show of public unity set for 3 p.m. Saturday, September 23rd. He invited neighbors, friends, ranger buddies, and thought nothing more of it. The day of the barbecue, a group of Hilltop Crip gangbangers acknowledged Folk outside of his residence and gave him the gun finger. It came from a car full of Crips. Driving by his house, the index finger pointed, thumb up, a little flip of the hand, and the mouthed words, boom, boom.
Oh, not that finger. I think I'd rather the other one, but it's not the finger. Oh my gosh. Why were they so kind of ruffled about this? He's having a barbecue. Naturally, he's going to invite some of his ranger friends because that was his profession. That was his career. Okay. I think I'm being very naive.
The gangsters saw the video camera on Folk's house, and a few hours later they returned and threw rocks at it. Someone else took shots at the house and the video camera with a BB gun. Folk and a few ranger buddies then walked across the street to confront the out-of-shape, chain-smoking gangbangers who think they're hard. Folk told...
these are the actions of people who are feeling very brave and very bold. So... I don't know. They're very aware that the law has been letting the residents down here, and they just feel like they can do XYZ. They can pretty much do what they want because there's going to be no consequences. There's no deterrent. Okay, yeah, they're not deterred.
Told them to stop throwing things at his home and the neighbors' homes, to stop shooting BBs, and to instead turn their lives around and find better ways. The gangbangers warned him to take the camera out of his window. The gangbangers suggested the staff sergeant didn't know who he was dealing with. The staff sergeant suggested the gangbangers didn't know who they were dealing with.
Well, I don't think you know who you're
They then told him,
with.
"Your history, bitch," and told him they were going to burn his house down and light him up as soon as the sun goes down. Folk decided to walk away, and before he returned to his home, he overheard one of the Crips stating, "I'm gonna shoot that army son of a bitch." Folk then walked inside his house. He picked up...
I think it's the stupidest thing to be referring to someone as some kind of insult, like army son of a bitch. That man has just served in your country's army. He has literally defended all of the freedoms that you have. Have some more goddamn respect. Oh gosh, it makes me angry.
His telephone, called some more of his ranger buddies from the 2nd Ranger Battalion, and invited them over for a barbecue, suggesting it wouldn't hurt if they came armed. Translation, bring your own bullets. Hey guys, let's have a barbecue. Okay, well, yeah, what are we gonna smoke? Just some Crips.
What are we smoking? Oh no.
Including the few rangers who were already at the barbecue and the rangers called, the total of rangers grew to 15. Folk told them to bring personal weapons and whatever else they had. They came armed to the teeth with handguns, shotguns, and rifles. Folk was armed with a Browning 9mm and a Colt Python 357 Magnum. Fucking Magnum. Who's the gangster now, bitch? Over a couple beers, Folk pitched to his buddies a defensive operation of his home. Stake out locations and wait, no first moves. If police come, disarm immediately, cooperate, and assist. And all of his buddies joyfully agreed and were fucking down. They thought maybe nothing will happen, but if it does, zero tolerance for dudes shooting gats and smoking Swisher Sweets. As the sun went...
I mean, their attitude is when the police turn up, they're going to fully cooperate. They're not going to... I imagine it's going to be on the grounds of you're not going to fire first. You're not going to react unless it's in defense. And then, do I think it's wrong? No, I think you should be able to defend yourself within reason. But when we say within reason, if you're shot at, it's not disproportionate. I've been watching too much Fat Electrician. Proportional. It's not disproportionate to fire back. Oh, gosh.
Down, the Rangers dispersed into their defensive positions, alert and observant of any and all activity inside and outside the perimeter of the house. A few hours had passed as the Rangers held their positions. One Ranger observed a vehicle approaching in the distance at a slow rate of speed, at which point the vehicle shut off its headlights. Folk, with his Magnum in hand, returned the favor and turned out the lights in his house and in the yard. At 9:20 p.m., as the vehicle approached, someone within the vehicle fired a shot into the air. The house was now taking fire from the rear, where, according to police reports, small caliber automatic gunfire was heard. The Rangers opened a shit ton of fire but so did the Hilltop Crips. One of the Rangers, William Edwards, was posted on the front porch. When the shooting started, he hit the ground as a bullet slammed into the wall beside him. He and other Rangers returned fire, seeing figures running amongst parked cars on the other side of the street. Ranger Russell Nolte, posted in the backyard, crawled forward as a shot hit the back of the house 3 feet over his head. Ranger Burr Settles was posted upstairs by the infamous controversial fucking video camera as a shot came through the window. The bullet grazed his head and he received multiple lacerations on his face from the shattered glass. Numerous muzzle flashes were now seen from the east. There were at least 16 shooters in 3 different locations. The Rangers again returned fire, while outside the assailants took cover amongst the parked cars, shooting over their shoulders, ducking down, shooting blindly. You know, stupid shit like that, like gangsters do. At this time, a neighbor taking cover on her kitchen floor dialed 911. And just like the famous Wild West shootout at the OK Corral, it was over in minutes. 10 minutes, to be exact. The first police car came down the...
Those 10 minutes must have felt a lot longer to these Rangers here.
middle of the street, cherries and berries on, with his siren blaring.
Cherries and berries.
The Rangers dropped their weapons, but as that first patrol car arrived on scene, one of the Hilltop Crip gang members popped a round off, sending the patrol car reversing out of the scene so quickly, smoke was seen coming from the rear tires. Officers in the car reported hearing 50 to 60 shots in less than 1 minute. Shortly after, more cops pulled into the block, and the gangbangers ran.
Well, serves you right. What do they have to say for themselves? I mean, I know it's not the point here, but, you know, the Rangers are trained very, very, you know, to the highest, most elite standards with these weapons. The Crips are not. As experienced as you might be, I don't know, handling these weapons, when you're shooting blindly, this is how this is how innocent people get hurt. And it might be, I don't ever want to refer to anyone as collateral damage in something like this. That sounds awful. But innocent people end up getting hurt. I don't even know where to begin. Why? How? Why would this escalate to this point? You can tell I have no experience of gang activity around me. The aftermath.
The unarmed staff sergeant walked out the back door to his driveway and the alley behind his house. He felt someone behind and didn't fight. A hand shoved his head down and a voice ordered him to the ground. One gang member by the name of Frankie Strickland was cornered by a police canine and found to be in possession of 16 rounds of 9mm. He said he was holding them for a friend but couldn't remember the friend's name.
Please.
You know, like a fucking liar. He also said the same thing about the pistol he was carrying. It was for a friend. Another suspect was carrying copper-headed rounds for a gas gun. Once the situation was under control and the officers learned about the Rangers' defensive operation, the responding sergeant of the Tacoma Police Department wasn't too happy about it. He lectured Folk and the other Rangers for not calling the police for assistance until shots were fired.
I understand that, but you've got your locals, your residents here have already got an experience of being let down by the local law enforcement. What is left to do? What's left to do? I'm not condoning vigilante behavior, but I mean, it must make you feel like you're backed into a corner. You have to defend yourself when your local law enforcement isn't doing enough. I know there's budget constraints and whatnot around it, but it's just like a vicious cycle, isn't it?
And felt that the situation may have been avoided by calling 911 prior to the shooting getting started. Out of what was quite possibly a 35-man gunfight with over 300 rounds shot in the dark, no one was reported to be killed or injured. For 20 years, the official version of the shootout held that miraculously no one was hurt, but there are rumors injured gang members did not seek medical attention for obvious reasons, and some may have even been mortally wounded. And according to Folk himself, during the firefight, one gang member rushed towards Folk's house. I guess he thought he was gonna John Wayne it. Folk remembered. One of the Rangers took aim and hit the gangster in the shoulder. The attacker staggered back and ran away. The moment...
I mean, I would consider this person, this member of the Crips, I would say consider yourself fortunate that you were shot by a very well-trained professional that aimed for a non-lethal shot. You know, that you've been shot in the shoulder. You're gonna, yes, it's a wound, but you're not gonna die from it, statistically. You know, if that was, you know, if the roles were the other way around and that was one of the gang members, you know, you're not trained, you're not anywhere near as experienced with handling that weapon. You could have killed somebody, you know?
Goes unmentioned in police reports and witness accounts of the time. Unverified gossip holds that the wounded man was treated at a Seattle area hospital, over an hour away from Tacoma. Doug Sutherland, who was mayor at the time, pondered a declaration of a citywide version of martial law to combat the gang violence that immediately drew national attention. The city of Tacoma found the dollars to add more police officers to their department. Then
that's interesting. But the dollars there all along, but they had been redirected into other areas, let's say, to put it politely. And then once the media had been drawn into this and the world is now aware, the rest of the United States are all of a sudden aware of the lack of spending in the police department. All of a sudden the funds are easily found.
Governor Booth Gardner even considered sending in the National Guard to Ash Street. The Hilltop Crip gang member who was arrested and found in possession of the 9mm and the pistol, Frankie Strickland, was the only man charged in connection with the shootout. He was convicted of second-degree assault and was later sentenced to 22 months in prison. The military officially considered the incident a matter of self-defense for the off-duty Rangers. On February 9th, 2010, Tacoma police and FBI launched a major crackdown on the Hilltop Crip gang and charged 32 members with up to 50 crimes, everything from theft to attempted murder and drug sales. A few years back, a Tacoma police officer said something about the shootout. He said it was the single most important incident in Tacoma that caused a change in police policies and practices.
Well,
Staff Sergeant William Folk never moved away from Ash Street, and as he predicted, he was never promoted and left the Army in 1993. He still owns the property to this day. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. There's a lot more of these historical crime breakdowns in the works, and you don't want to miss them. So be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Super interesting. There's a lot of information there. The one that's really I've kind of locked into is the one member that was arrested got 22 months. That doesn't seem it doesn't seem like a great deterrent to not fall back into that again. I must sound so unbelievably naive. Yes, you can tell. I've not grown up knowing or living around. Fortunately, not living around areas where gang crime is a problem. So do forgive my innocence and my naive comments here. But 22 months doesn't sound like a very fitting sentence. I suppose you could argue and say he didn't kill anyone, or maybe he specifically didn't wound anybody, but I don't think that was with a lack of intent. You know, how do they explain only 22 months custodial sentence? I don't understand that. It seems like there should be a longer sentence. But then again, I suppose the problem is that he's kind of acting as a bit of a scapegoat for the other members because he's the only one that's being punished. I mean, pick your battles, guys. Why on earth do you What would possess you to think that you were going to come out unscathed in this standoff with the Rangers? That's crazy. I admire the chap here for really digging his heels in and standing his ground. Oh my gosh. It's very brave. See, I'm too much of a wuss. I don't think I could do that. But I admire it very, very much. Did the neighborhood change? Did the neighborhood turn around? Did it? You know, the activity slightly less. Did it ever really turn around? What is it like today? Is it similar? It's got to be better, hasn't it? I have nothing but admiration for this. I do think, you know, you've got to stick up for yourselves, haven't you? Especially against, you know, in the light of things like this. But that's a lot easier said than done. If you don't have, like, obviously these guys are military trained. They're like elite soldiers. So they must be very confident in their ability to stick up for themselves, you know, really dig their heels in and stand their ground. For your average person, it would be a very, very dangerous thing to do. But it's very admirable. I would go as far as to say they're quite heroic, actually. Maybe not in the eyes of the local law enforcement, but again, what can you do? Is vigilantism a word? Vigilantism is going to be on the increase. When people feel let down by their law enforcement, it's going to happen. So thank you so much for requesting this video, Carlitos. Very, very interesting. Absolute badasses. Love it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed watching along with me. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.